Everybody, Mick here from Planet Salad, another video on AI and climate. Was reading an interesting article this morning, which I'll share in a second. It's from a non-profit um, article journal online, and really, really good topic. Yeah, they say climate tech will save us, but who will save us from climate tech? And it really goes into some things we've already discussed around how technology, in particular AI, is touted as the way to actually help us get through this climate emergency and to get back to a nature positive world. But also talks about a lot of the paradoxes that obviously the technology that's driving it and especially AI has significant energy consumption components. And also, it is actually driven, this whole industry of climate technology is driven by capitalism. It's driven by this need for investing in these technologies to continue to help them grow. And the reality is that is the case. And I think it just suggests that we're actually going to be really dealing with a lot of paradoxes and conflicts and challenges, which is going to make this in some ways significantly harder. And what I mean by that is you might find one thing that does a really, really good job. Like let's say there's straight argument about solar. Solar panels as they have been, in terms of not perfectly efficient, not perfectly recyclable. There are major issues with it. So if we just purely had lots and lots of solar doing that, we might actually get off coal, but we might actually create another problem. Now, I think the reality is we built all these industries like coal and others without worrying about those negative externalities, and now we have to worry about them. So the burden is higher. Um, and when we think about following that through in terms of investment, definitely investment cannot invest purely on the base. Most capital can't invest purely on the basis of environmental impact. It has to be on the basis of of producing a return and have climate impact as a positive side effect. So I think when we think about this in terms of fossil fuel continuum and like Australia and UK, the United States aiming for net zero, but still actually doing fossil fuel, it's recognizing that we're going through a transition. Australia generates so much revenue from those fossil fuels, we just can't turn it off immediately. Plus, all of the energy systems are run that way. The energy systems are complex, so it's a really, really complex thing. I don't think that actually means we don't do it. I think it's a bad excuse to say, oh, it's not perfect right now, so and it's going to be messy, it's going to be hard. There's lots of conflicts and paradoxes. That's a reason not to do it. So that's absolutely that's not a good enough reason. We have to actually just continue to work through and do it. So again, we think the reality with all of climate technology and solutions, we're talking about significant conflicts, and AI is no different. But that is not an excuse to stop. We just have to raise the bar, work harder, work in more partnerships, and do that work. And I think it's also going to happen over time. I don't think it's going to be instantaneous. I think it actually is. There are some things which need to be built in sequence. There are some things that can only be built on top of this these systems. So anyway, some quick thoughts. Good article. I'll share it in the link. Thanks.